Peace to the family. Peace to the tribe.
I'm excited. I am thrilled. I am overjoyed to. I'm a little nervous because I'm so excited to be hosting this space tonight. I'm so glad that you all could come and be part of this space tonight. We're going to build tonight. And I'm glad that we're finally getting to hear the truth through Twitter Spaces. So I'm definitely excited about that. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and give an introduction. We know that throughout the course of history, Black Americans, when it comes to our patents, our copyrights, and our own ideas, due to racial and racist constructs, there's a tendency that our creativity, for the most part, has always been stolen from us. That racist trend continues to happen even in today's society. But in 1981, something groundbreaking was about to take place in the world of science fiction. A brilliant mind was attempting to bring Black American sci-fi to the big screen. Uh, this would have been a major turning point in Black history. She is here tonight to tell you in her own words. We will let the truth be heard on this Twitter space. She has uh, received so many accolades throughout her life. She has a bachelor's of art degree in journalism with a minor in law and psychology. She went on to study cinema at the University of Southern California. She's also had the opportunity to work at Columbia Pictures. She is an award-winning poet, publishing well over 100 poems. She's the recipient of the 2006 NAACP Rosa Parks Award for her contributions to the film industry. But most importantly, she is a prodigy. She is the owner and the creator of the Matrix and Terminator franchise. She's the author of The Third Eye, the mother of the Matrix, and the Matrix 4, Cracking the Genetic Code. And she's here in this space with us tonight. And her name is Sophia Stewart. Sophia, I've sent you a request to speak. If you can just accept that request, and we'll wait for you to come on. We'll wait for you to come on and join us in this conversation tonight. Family, please throw up some hearts or some hands for the brilliant, extraordinary, beautiful Sophia Stewart. So as we'll just wait for her to come on and grab a microphone so that we can have this dialogue tonight. Sophia, if you can see on your screen, I'm sending you an invite to speak. And if you can just click on that invite to speak, you should see it on your screen.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you
I
so,
was
so much.
having a little difficulty because every time you sent That link I try to respond to, I touch it and it just didn't do anything. I don't know what was going on, but I had to wrestle with stuff because I could hear you just crystal clear, but you couldn't hear me at all until now. And then it just finally started working. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you,
Okay,
Sophia.
great.
Thank you. Whew. Thank you so much. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to speak with you tonight. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I know that you expressed to me that this is your first Twitter space,
Yes.
and I'm thankful that you're doing it with us.
Oh, yeah, it's my
So,
very first. I never even heard of it. And I've done a lot of media interviews. I've done over 5,000. I've been interviewing in the news, the mainstream media since 1979 and onwards, and with the Matrix since 2001. So it's been a long, long time. And people can go into the archives. I have um, made history. My work won 4 Oscars, and science fiction never ever get win Oscars, but The Matrix won 4 Oscars, and it is the first Black science fiction with Black leadership. So it is phenomenal, and the white Hollywood doesn't even claim the first Matrix. They try to claim the whitewash 2 and 3, and the garbage 4, that documentary with John Wick and Tiffany. So you guys are not even aware of all the Black people that are in the 1999 Matrix movie. They're nothing but Black leadership roles. That is not white science fiction. White science fiction is Star Wars, as Superman, Batman, Spider Man, and Rocky saving the world, Iron Man. Those are white science fiction, you guys. There are no Black leadership in those franchises. In fact, Star Wars just got this young Black male, I think it was 2015, and a lot of the fans were really pissed off because it changed it from a white science fiction. Anytime you get Black leadership role, that changes the game. Everyone needs to know this. So in 1981, I was engaged to Muhammad Ali. I was with him from 1980 to 1983. So the Neo character was inspired by Muhammad Ali, and the one, and biblically from the Bible. John the Revelator is called Jesus the One. So JC John Connors grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. And the Matrix is past, present, and future time travel, science fiction. And the Terminator is the beginning of the epic story, because I'm talking about the evolutions of consciousness. I'm talking about the second coming of the Christ, man versus the machine, because in the future, man is going to create his own children, and these soulless children are going to go up against God's children that comes from the matrix, the womb. So when you see the third eye uh, book, it's talking, it's the third eye matrix and Terminator book, because the third eye is the eye of God. The matrix is the woman's womb where God's children come from, out of that Stargate portal. And Terminator End Time Revelations is where the revelations comes from, the revealing of the future of why that child had to come back here, because man had created these drones and clones and artificial intelligence that started to enslave mankind and destroy them. So this is what the whole premises of these books that I wrote in movies. I own the copyrights to all those derivative movies. They're nothing but derivatives or counterfeits of the books. Just like the Lords of the Ring book, the Lords of the Ring movie, the Maze book, the Maze movie. John Grisham, who wrote The Firm, the book, the movie, John Grisham's The Pelican Brief book, and then the movie. So all these great movies come out of books. They're films. They were filmed. They're not like written unless they're written by the authors who created it. And a lot of people do not know that. So if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer those questions and really take you on a journey, because the oracle in the Matrix and Terminator, the oracle is Sophia Stewart. I put myself in my work. I just like Stan Lee of Marvel, Stephen King, the author, Spike Lee, the director. We put our own selves in our work, and we copied off of Alfred Hitchcock, because Alfred Hitchcock was a master that put himself in his work, and we admired that, and that's why we are in our work. Any questions?
Yeah, you have the floor.
Yes, hi. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Stewart. Thank you so
Oh, you can
much.
call me
Um,
Sophia. You can throw that miss out the
okay,
window.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sophia
thank you.
is, yeah, it's all that anyone needs to call me. That's my name. That's the only name I appreciate. And yours is Yaya. That's
Yes, you can
cute.
call me
I
Yaya.
love that. That's cute.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One of the, oh my gosh, one of the many questions I have, but I know you're going to answer them all in this one explanation. I had several. I had one because I saw a interview and I have been following you and what's been going on. And I remember the whole fact of the womb, actually the black woman's womb, and when you first started writing and putting it out there, and now all of a sudden there's such a big IVF boom after your work has been done. Have you been able to follow that correlation between even the years that you put out your work and how science has followed your work?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you, a lot of people don't even know that the word matrix is a 7,000-year-old Latin word for the woman's womb, her stargate, her portal to bring babies into this physical domain called Earth. And if without this womb, and including the animals, the female animals, they have wombs also to bring their babies here. But the word matrix is it's in the King James's Bible, mentioned 5 times in Scripture. 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse. God says, "He who opens up the matrix are my children." And they are three-dimensional beings. 3D meaning the astral body, that's spirit. So when a woman has her period, it's blood, water, and spirit. The second body is the physical body, which is transportation, which it takes 9 months or 36 weeks where the estrogen flows through the woman's body and expand that matrix or that womb as the baby grows. That body that's going to house the spirit and the seed, which is the soul. So the third body at the 12th weeks that attaches to the physical body and this astral body, which is spirit, is the soul of the seed. So everything that God has created has a seed. So if you see a watermelon that has no seed, man created it. Or oranges, no seeds, apples, no seeds, man created that in the laboratory. But everything that has a seed, that's a soul, man, God created it. And so a doctor won't perform an abortion at the 12th weeks because all three are one: blood, water, spirit, astral body, the physical body, and the soul of the seed. They become one. So an abortion can happen up until 11 weeks because it's nothing but blood, water, and spirit. You can't kill the astral body. So it's just nothing but a period. That's all. And they won't tell you this. And the difference between a man and a woman is not the vagina and the penis, it is the womb. A woman can have a baby. A man can never, ever have a baby. So I don't know why people are lying and calling men women and women men when that is not true and never will be true. I don't understand that at all. But it all goes back during the period of ancient Egypt or Kemet or the motherland or Eden. It has various names that people give that land. But that's where it all began. And you know it in the Bible as Genesis, but there's no such word as Genesis, but it's an anagram for two words. Genesis, turn it around, is two words. Is 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 genes, Genes. So Genesis, which is an anagram for his genes, is talking about somebody being born. It's also talking about cloning. It tells the story where Eve is as it comes from the rib of Adam, but not the Adama, but Adam, the atom like Atom, because that's how cloning is. It's splicing and making a copy. It's where a doctor or scientist can take an egg and a syringe and you bring him some DNA. The DNA could be of something dead. It could be a dead horse, a dead person, or a living person or a living horse. And take that DNA and put it in the syringe, the doctor or the scientist, and insert it into an egg and then put that egg inside of a womb. And the womb could be a woman's womb or an animal womb, could be a horse, a female horse womb where you're cloning a horse, or it could be a female, living being where you're cloning a person. And anyone could be that surrogate because it has to have a womb. If it doesn't have any womb, it will not be able to come here. So they will never bring any dinosaurs back because it won't. There are no female wombs of dinosaurs in order to be the surrogates. I know this blows your mind, but I studied to be a doctor and a lawyer. So I'm breaking down a lot of stuff for people. But you can also go to YouTube and you can look at the polo players clone horses with 60 minutes. In fact, while I'm speaking and teaching, people can Google everything I'm talking about and look up the stuff as I speak so you can grow and learn as I teach. But it's mind boggling because until you find out a lot of truth that's going on here, you have no idea how much you're plugged in and programmed and distracted from the truth. That you're every day your harvest like sheep's. And if you don't know who you are, like over the pyramids, it says know thyself. Because if you don't know who you are, know who yourself or anything about yourself, any man can come and tell you a lie and enslave you. But no man can, no Dr. Frankenstein can create a woman's womb inside of anybody, cannot create any estrogen to manufacture and expand that womb, cannot create a feeding tube called an umbilical cord, or breast milk for milk to come out of the breast to feed the babies. And the black woman, she carries the Eve gene. The Eve gene means that when she births a baby, every replica of every tribe here on earth, because there are no races, the word race is racist, but there are many tribes with different skin covers, different colors, skin covers. But these covers do not make the person who they are. So don't judge a book by its cover. Because you have black skin or white skin doesn't make you black or white. It is the blood, the DNA that determines who and what you are here. Period. Not your skin. And I don't know where that confusion came from, but it is total confusion. The blood determines, and the first blood that came upon the earth, the most ancient blood, the most rarest blood is O positive. Now, this O positive blood can give everybody blood. All these other bloodlines came later, A and AB and B. And then the negative bloods came from the monkey, the rhesus monkey blood, RH factor, negative. The negative bloodlines have only been here since 28,000 years. And they're like the positive bloods have already been here for, like I said, the ancient bloodlines. Now, the O positive blood can give blood to the AB, and the B, but none of them can give blood to the O positive. That would kill anybody with O positive blood. The O positive blood can only receive O positive blood from other O positive donors. You need to go and start studying these bloodlines and understanding. We used to take blood tests before we got married because the RH factor, the negative blood, would kill the positive, would kill the baby in the womb until they learned how to fix that. Where a negative person with an RH negative factor could actually marry somebody with a positive bloodline. I always look at it like you look at the battery, there's a positive charge that moves forward. There's another charge on the battery that's negative that goes backwards. But God was explaining that there was only one energy in this whole earth and it was good. But man somehow took that energy and started to move backwards. And that's where evil came from, when he started going backwards. Because when you're moving forward, you're living, and the word live, LIVE. But the anagram to living and going backwards is evil. But look, it's the word live, LIVE, but when you go backwards, it's EVIL. But it's the same word, it's an anagram. But that anagram is showing you how things move. So now, how energy moves, but it's only one great energy. And you could take that energy and move forward, and you can create and you can build, or you can take that same energy, like I said, and go backwards and do the most wicked and evil things to people upon the earth, tear down, destroy. It's just polarity, not duality. People always teaching duality. Duality means by or two, mean two things are going on. There are no two things going on. The energy is polarity. Polarity means that you're switching directions. You're taking this one energy and you're flipping the direction that it flows in. And that's why you either get a positive charge or you get a negative charge. But it goes all the way back to the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant was, if you look at it, it looks just like this giant battery, but it's like the battery that's in your car. The only thing that difference with the Ark of the Covenant, it has the giant wingspans of the angels, Michael and Lucifer. Lucifer being the negative, Michael being the positive. And there was, if you touched the Ark of the Covenant certain way, you would die. And that's what happens with a battery. If you mess around with the battery and you start dealing with it in a certain way, it can bring a negative charge, or it can, shock you, or it can burn up the car, burn down the car, or it can drive smooth. The car can drive smoothly, depending on what you're doing with the energy when you are messing with that battery in the car. Anyone have any questions?
Brother Sia, you have the floor.
Blessings, blessings. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Blessings, blessings, Sophia, sister Yaya, sister KD. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this conversation. I'm excited. I'm going to remain excited, because that actually elevates the conversation, to let the mother flow through. But yeah, my question is geared towards freedom and our birthright. Because I hear a lot of people, whenever we talk about freedom, they refer to like a constitution or the declaration or a piece of paper. But I had heard you speak about freedom as your birthright, not because you have a certificate, but because you don't have one. So could you please touch on that?
Well, man is the one that are creating all these programs. And these programs have nothing to do with your natural given rights here. God gave everyone the natural given rights, and all this paperwork that you see, the Constitution, the Bible, all of these things that man have created that are what you call subsidiaries, or they're derivatives of the source, you know. Well, the source tells you that you have these unalienable rights here that no man can stop, even though man has created his own lies and ignorance, illusions and distractions, and and programming. But you don't have to be a part of any of that. You can learn the natural laws that the animals, the insects, the sun, the elements, the fire, the air, the earth, the water, all of these are working in union with the natural laws that governs everything here. So they don't even pay any attention to man or anything that he's written, because man, he changes his mind about stuff. He manipulates. He is a person that want to be in control of you, or controlling you. And he doesn't need to control you. He needs to just control himself. And when he controls himself, he controls everything around him. And that's the key. But that's what the deal is here. Man wanting to enslave others, control them, do a lot of things with them when he really doesn't need to. So when I won my court case, I used the natural laws of God. Now, you guys would think if you go into a court case and you go up against billionaires, there is no way in hell can you win. But that's not true. You can come in with the laws of God, because the court is a court of truth. And when you enter into that court or that realm, you have to enter truth in there. If you enter anything else in there, you're going to go to jail. If it's going to be fraud, it's automatically invalidated and operative. You can't, it becomes nothing. Do you see what I'm talking about? And so a lot of people, when they do these court cases, they're really making money. They have bonds, and you had no birth certificate, I think, until the 30s or something. 30s or the 40s or something. People got, you can Google it and see when the first birth certificate came. But you really didn't even need any birth certificate. So I don't even know what the purpose were, except to utilize them to do harm to man, or to see how many men were upon the earth, or keep track of them, or keep control of them, just the same way they were doing cattle's or animals or slaves whenever they came and pillaged and warred against different lands. They all, whether you were Vikings or uh, soldiers or whatever, you come from to start wars and take and steal turf or resources. So the slave trade has been going on with everyone from the beginning of time. It has nothing to do with any black people. Black people were, I don't even know why they talk about it like that, that black people were all enslaved everywhere. That's the biggest lie ever told. In fact, if they were to pay reparations, there'd be a lot of people of color be really pissed off, because they won't be getting that payday. I'm telling the truth. They kept meticulous records of everybody that they kept as slaves, and the ancestors and stuff. The genealogy and stuff here, people are well versed in it. And there are a lot of people who keep records. But when you're tracing genealogy, it's traced with your blood. Like I told you, it has nothing to do with your skin. There are people right now in different parts of the country that has silky blonde hair and black skin, and you can Google this on YouTube. Go to YouTube and punch it in. And there are people with silky blonde hair and blue eyes and white skin, and they are black people because of the blood. I met such a woman. She used to work for Lou Gossett Jr., the actor, the Oscar Award winning actor, Lou Gossett Jr. He had this lady, her name was Carol. She worked for him, and She looked at white. She had, this was in the 80s, and she had silky blonde hair and she had blue eyes, and you would think she was white. And she told me her personal story. She told me how she married a white guy and she was trying to pass for white. And when they had the baby came out black, and he wanted to kill her because he thought she was cheating on him. But then she came clean and told him the truth. And she said that she would never try to pass ever again. And there are a lot of people like that right here, right now. There's such a magazine called Sepia, Sepia. Sepia. You need to look at that magazine. Before Ebony and Jet, it was this magazine called Sepia, Sepia. Google it and look at all the black people on the cover and stuff. It was talking about all these so-called white skinned people that was really black and they were passing for white. Um, they had genocided themselves, a lot of them actually. They had genocided themselves, meaning they had sterilized themselves so that the truth about them being black would not come out. So a lot of this hate that's going on, a lot of this warring that's going on, are a lot of these people who are have white privilege, but they're not white. They have white skin, white privilege, but they're not white people. Their blood tells the truth. And if they hadn't genocided themselves or sterilized themselves and they had children, then you would see the truth. I have to teach people this so they can stop hating themselves and stop hating who they are, because it has nothing to do in this world with any skin. It has every a white privilege. It has everything to do with the blood. And everyone should find out who they are through their bloodline, because we're going to go back to Eden. And when we go to Eden, as or the motherland, and like I told you in Genesis, which is no such word as Genesis, an anagram for is genes. And when you go into the gene pool and you start to look, it says that she was having sex with this reptilian, and he was walking upright like a man. Well, Eve was having sex with an animal. And later on, when this animal was cursed, it crawled on its belly and became what is known as the serpent. And a lot of people know the reptilians, the reptiles, the dragons, the snakes, and other lizards and so forth all come in that family. But anyway, it was two lineages in the Bible that was spoken of that was warring against each other. And Cain was the child that was born when Eve was with the reptilian. Cain was born. Cain, chaos, or raising Cain, or raising chaos. And he had the mark of the beast on him because he came from the beast and he had the mark, the beast's blood. And then right after that, Eve went and got Adam and started having sex with him. And they had the baby Abel. And Abel was the other lineage that was going to carry on the bloodline of the living beings. And what happened was the beast, Cain, and Abel got into a fight. And Cain, being part of the beast, his bloodline was that of the beast, killed Abel, and then Seth carried on the lineage. And what God was talking about, these two lineages have been warring here upon the earth forever. Because in the Bible, God says um, that Cain's lineage would actually bite the heel of the living children of God, and that God's children would stump the head of Cain's lineage. So this is what's going on here, why you see the war going on between the two fashions of beings here. Those who have these animal bloodlines, which is a curse, generational curse. that can go on 100 years. And this is why you see all these weird people and weird things being made in the laboratory. And where you go in certain countries like Brazil, and young men grow up to have sex with donkeys, with animals, rather be with an animal than to be with a living being. And there's a lot of people like that here right now, rather be with animals than to be with living beings because of the bloodlines. If people would stop warring and fighting over these skins and the looking at the bodies and begin to study the bloodlines and understand what DNA blood means and why the war is going on and why man can go into the laboratory and create clones and drones and test tube babies and petri dish babies and artificial inseminated babies and gender manipulated babies and gender benders. It doesn't make any sense because these are living amoebas. They're seedless and soulless, just like the mule. The mule is a hybrid, a cross between a horse that's big and weak and a donkey that's little and small. But he's big as a horse and strong as a donkey, but he can't have any children. It cannot reproduce. It cannot duplicate. It has no womb. It is a hybrid, a thing, an living amoeba. And it's kind of hard to understand what the war is going on here. But I'm talking about it in the Matrix. The war, you see the machine, the Terminator, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed. The Terminator end time revelations, because that's where the prophecy speaks about that a child, a second child, is going to be born, like the first time they talked about Jesus in the Bible and those authors. But then I'm talking about the second coming in the Matrix and Terminator, and that Sarah Connor, which is really deep. And the machines, they know who the mother is, and they have to time travel to the past because they hear the oracle's prophecy in the future talking about this child. And they're warring against the living beings, the humans. They're warring against them and the future, the rebellion, the revolution is going on. And the Terminator know they have to go to the past to kill Sarah Connor so she won't have the baby that's going to grow up in the future when the rebellion and the revolution really gets off. He's going to come and destroy the machines. And so Kyle Reese, a rebel, also know about the prophecy, and he knows that he has to go there to the past to protect her. So they're time traveling. The machine is wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed, looking like a living being. And here, Kyle Reese, they both land naked without shame because when you come through the portals, when you come through the womb, that's how you come here. You come here naked, and when you leave here, you didn't bring anything with you. And when you leave out of here from the earth, you leave out of here naked without anything. And everything you've accumulated here on the earth, the short time if you're here, whether it's 100 years or 120 years or 920 years, you leave it behind. It's your legacy. It is who you were upon the earth, where you was a leader of wars and murder and destruction, or someone who is memorable and creative and have left a great legacy for others to admire and to look up to and follow. And so when the Terminator gets there, someone tells him to go put on some clothes because he's seedless and soulless. Whereas Kyle Reese knows to get dressed. But while he was protecting Sarah Connor, he gets her pregnant and he has to leave. It's the Immaculate Conception because now she's pregnant with this baby. She fell in love and he's gone. And the machine still cannot defeat what is meant to be. And when you see the second Terminator, he's a teenager and he is not consciously awakened yet. And then the third Terminator, he's a young man, but he's still consciously asleep. And then when the rebellion or the revolution takes place, when he turns the age of 30 years old, the age of 30 years old. And this is why you always have to read the book, because movies are only a fraction, a little tiny fraction of a book. A movie is probably only 1 hour and 36 minutes, no more than 2 hours and 15 minutes. And so it's only a fraction out of a book. But that fraction is enough to stir up the imaginations. But when you go to the book, you get the details. So the details are more important than anything because you learn so much more. But anyway, like I was saying, because I'm teaching what is going on here now, we are living in the matrix. And my coming to bring you the matrix and Terminator is to unplug you to the truth of what's going on here, because you're living now. We're in the laboratory. They can create any and everything. They created COVID. Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates have patented it. You can go to the patent office and look. They went to school together. It is generated through the lab. It is not. It is not natural. It is man-made. Anything that's man-made can be patented, but anything that's natural cannot be patented. Look, the word matrix is a generic, like the word cola, Coca-Cola. You can patent and trademark Coca-Cola, but not the word cola. I can patent and trademark the matrix, but not the word matrix, because matrix is a generic. So matrix Toyota, matrix insurance, matrix poker, you know what I'm talking about? But that's not the matrix. That is not Neo. That is not John Connors. That is not Trinity, you see, or the Oracle, or the red and blue pill that comes from the Matrix, or I'll be back, the dialogue, or the logos that are raining down the binary codes of the 1 and 0 of the computer. You see what I'm talking about? And when you see Neo, and when you see Trinity and Morpheus, they have their own distinct look that is the Matrix look. And when you looked at the fourth movie, it was nothing but a documentary talking about John Wick and Tiffany, who has a husband and 2 children. Trinity never had any kids. Morpheus never got married and had any son. When you read the real fourth installment, which I was offered $30 million for, it is all new, fresh, never been seen on any screen. It's almost 13 years old because it came out in 2010. It's almost 2023 now. It'll be 13 years old. Read by the fans, 2 to 3 billion fans globally, who wanted the continuation of The Matrix and Terminator, who loves it, love Matrix and Terminator. When they saw the movie, it made them sick. The movie lost the investors $100 million because Andy and Larry Wachowski are nothing but liars and thieves. They never wrote anything. They never created anything. They never owned any trademarks, never owned any copyrights, never owned any work. Can't even write. Didn't even know what the word matrix was. Didn't know it came out of the Bible. Had no idea it was the woman's womb or stargate or portal. Not at all. They tried to, in fact, copyright the word matrix, and the government told them, no way, it's a generic. And that just told the government they never wrote the matrix because they didn't even know where it came from. They just thought it was a cool word. They had no idea it was the woman's stargate, her portal, to bring babies into this earthly dimension. and that it was a 7,000-year-old Latin word that came right out of the Bible 5 times in Scripture, because they had never read the Bible, have no idea who God was, and put on the charade of cross dressers. Andy has been married to his wife for over 22 years and love her. Larry divorced his wife in the 90s, but he had a dominatrix woman. And I don't know what the charade is about, but I do know that it was once upon a time during the Pharaoh Akhenaten, and y'all can look him up. When Akhenaten was Pharaoh, um, he brought he brought in the one, and he was telling many people about the one, and that they had to start telling the truth. Now, all these false prophets and all these priests, they were making all their monies off of these lies. And they told many lies, and that's how they made their money. And they really got pissed off at him because he brought in the one and he told them that they had to start telling the truth. And I want to thank people who are sending me Cash App donations. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Many people do it on when I am on Clubhouse. They send me donations of all kinds, and they also buy the books. And I want to let people know that you can get these books. I've written several books on Matrix and Terminator, but it has also some of the most revered metaphysics and ancient knowledge in these books. And this is what people pick up when they are reading and looking at the movies. They're seeing this knowledge that are coming out of the book and the source, and where all of this stuff that Tony Robbins and Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill, all of these people, Vincent Peale, and many, many, many others that you guys know about, they have all got this knowledge from the book of the living, the book of the dead. And many, many books are derived from that. It will blow your mind. It's mind boggling. You know what I'm saying? So you will learn some most amazing, and people in the foreign countries, you can go to Amazon and get the books in the foreign countries, Canada and other countries, or the, like, because there's a lot of fans that are Chinese and Russians and so forth. You guys can go to Amazon and get these books because they have the most revered ancient metaphysical knowledge that is mind boggling.
So, Sister Sophia, I do want to let you know that in this room, I learned this word just for you. In the old Jumbotron, I have placed a link to all your books, and I have also placed a link, and I've placed your PayPal. So everyone, her Cash App and her PayPal is also in the Jumbotron. So in these spaces, look, I know something. I'm gonna share it with you. I'm just figuring this stuff out, and I'm just today saying the right word. When you're in these spaces above your head, if you scroll up, there is this thing called the Jumbotron, and so we can place things in there, information in there, and links in there. So everyone has a link to your books, all of them. The website for them, we have the Third Eye, we have the Metric Trivia, we have the Mother of the Matrix, Matrix 4 Evolution of Conscious, Cracking the Genetic Code. Okay, so we have all those links in the Ovatron, and we have where you can support and donate to the sister today. Her PayPal and her Cash App is also in the Jumbotron. I messed up again. Thank you, sister.
Oh, that's okay. I'm just thanking them because I can see the notification coming across the screen. And so I just wanted to reach out and thank them very much. Appreciate it. Because and I would like to, if you would also send your emails, people who give donations, and I will send you some free ebooks or books of your choice. That would really help you a lot because it is a lot of, like I said, metaphysical ancient technology, mythology, and mysticism, just all type of knowledge that is ancient. And when people go and they see the Matrix and Terminator movie, they're in awe. And so, can you imagine the books where these movies came from? And the first Matrix won 4 Oscars. My work won 4 Oscars, and most science fiction doesn't even win Oscars. So this is one unheard of thing, and they will not let people know because it's coming from a black womb, a black mind, and that is hated. For some reason, that is hated, but it is about creativity. This black womb and black mind is about creativity, creating, and the womb is the female, the feminine energy of creativity, because we are the ones that have the babies. We are the ones to replenish the earth, and we'll have babies again and again and again. And like I said, the Eve gene is a gene that can give you a duplicate of every tribe here on the earth verbatimly. That Eve gene will have albino babies. It will have the perfect Arab baby, the perfect Chinese, of any East Indians, any kind of person on the earth, the Eve gene will duplicate. Now, the white woman, she can only have a white baby or black. If she gets with a white man, her baby will be white. But if she gets with any other man upon the earth, no matter who he is and what he looks like, the baby will just come out black. It's true. You can go to any hospitals and you can see it. And those who have worked in the hospitals know what I'm talking about. And those who have worked in the hospital have seen the bestiality, have seen where female animals or female living beings in the hospital have had dog babies and all kinds of other babies where they have had sex with animals, bestiality. And a lot of people will not talk about this, but this is all about the Matrix and the Terminator. It is all leading to drones and clones and artificial inseminated and artificial the AI. And that man, when you go to the mythology, way back in mythology, and you see in the hieroglyphics of over there in Kemet, or the motherland, or ancient Egypt, or Eden, and you see the jackal-headed man, Anubis, and then you see the Elohims, the giant angels that fell to the earth, and the people who are the regular size of the archangels that are the regular size of man, and you go and you look at the movie Sodom and Gomorrah, sodomizing in Gundaria. Sodomizing is just talking about the backsides of animals and how many men have gone and had sex with sheep and cows, and how against the law it was because they would have the pig vows, and the pig vows would only work in the people who had the bloodlines of the swines, but would not work in the beings that were created from God's children, the seeds or the souls. It wouldn't work in them. But all of this stuff talking about the artificial and AI, all of this stuff is one and the same. You've seen it in many forms, but didn't even recognize it. It's been staring you in the face when you looked at mythology and you saw the miniature, this man that's half bull and half human, and you saw Medusa, the woman with snakes on her head, or the Cyclops with the giant eye, or when you looked at Stan Lee's work and you saw Marvel, and Marvel was talking about all of these children that were hybrids. And they had all these gifts, and some of them had wings and all kinds of stuff. Pegasus, the horse with wings, or the unicorn, the horse with a horn in its head. And all of this stuff is talking about the mixed breeding And this stuff is so real, but they call it a myth. They call it a lie. But many people who work in the hospitals know what I'm talking about. Many people who work in the laboratory know what I'm talking about. Man has the knowledge of God. He's a co-creator. He can create anything that he can imagine, anything that he can dream of, anything that he can visualize, he can create no matter what it is. This is why you see cars that ran by water, cars that become boats, and cars that are hybrids. They're boats in the water, and then when they come out of the water, they're cars that drive on the land by water. Electrical cars. Soon, like I told you, you'll be seeing electrical planes, and there'll be drones. They'll be unmanned. They will, because the drones are small now, but they're going to be giant. They're going to be great. They're going to be big, and you're going to see. Right now in Vegas, we have drone cars that are not driven by any man. Drone transportation is going to become a reality. In the Matrix 4 book, I'm talking about this virtual reality, virtual skateboards, virtual news, virtual jobs, the tablet and where it goes when the satellites come into play, the new jobs that are going to be created, the virtual jobs. Nothing like you've seen ever, where you'll be able to have bandwidth where you can reach millions and billions of people, and it won't crash your websites, it won't crash your sites, and you'll be able to make more money than you've ever made in your entire lives because your bandwidth won't crash when the satellites come into play. And they will put so many satellites up that you won't even you will think the satellites are the gods in the and the sky controlling everything. It'll be amazing in the future, like nothing you see. And when you get the Matrix 4 book, I am describing that future. I am talking about what is happening, what's getting ready to happen, why people's lives are going to change so magnificently. It's beyond anything you can imagine. Any questions?
We Yes,
Oh,
Sophia, there are a lot of people who have a lot of questions for you. I'll go ahead and I'll start with Brother Tommy, and then Sister LaShawn will be after him, and then Brother Barry.
Thank you so much, Sister Katie. Peace to you, Sophia.
Hey, brother Tommy, you coming in a little low, bro.
Yes, hello, Tommy.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to the room. Thank you so much, Sophia, for doing this. I was telling KD in the back channels, I'm a geek. I'm a huge fan of the Matrix, the Terminator. I watch them religiously, and growing up, I'm thinking that the reason why I like this stuff is because of the action behind it, the fight sequences and whatnot. But the more I've grown spiritually and intellectually, I realized that the reason why I love it so much is because I identify with it. And so when I found out that the creator, the sole creator of it, um, is a black woman, that just made all the more sense for me. So all you did was prove to me what I've been standing on for the past couple of years, and that is that the black mind is really the greatest resource in the universe. I don't think there's another people that could have been the architect of such a great display of art. And when you talk about the blood, it just takes me back to the whole Blade. Because after the Matrix and the Terminator, to me, Blade is probably the most deep franchise there is because it deals with the bloodline. It deals with what I'm saying, the daywalkers and things of that nature. So I guess the question that I have for you is, I know that your first project was the Third Eye. Can you
Well,
walk
it's
us
the one and the
through?
same. The third eye is the Matrix movie. Is the Matrix movie is just a derivative, just like I'm the mother and I have a baby, and the baby is derived from me. I'm the primary, the baby is secondary. So the third eye is not separated from the movies. It's like the Lord of the Ring book is not separated from the Lord of the Ring movie, or the Maze book separated from the Maze movie. They're one and the same. In fact, if the book didn't exist, there would be no movie. So what you see, the fighting scenes, I'm introducing martial arts into mainstream movies or in my books, because martial arts used to be in just martial arts movies, but I introduced it into mainstream movies, and it began to take hold of, and now you see the martial arts fighting in every movie, and the wearing of black. They dressed in black at all times. In Hollywood, they had this saying that everybody that wore white was the good guys and everybody who wore black was the bad guys or evil. And I reversed that. So when you see them wearing black in the Matrix and they all look good, people from around the world start wearing black and looking great in it. Also, when the judge made the ruling on the movies, she said in her 50-page ruling from the California case that all I had to do was put in the movies as evidence. I didn't even have to put in the books or the copyrights, because the movies were one. A movie is nothing but a film, just like you take your camera and you go out there and start filming something. Well, you filmed the source work, but you didn't create that source work. Somebody else did. All you did was make a derivative, which is called a video that you got with your camera. And if you did single shots, they're called still shots. And if you did a certain amount of time, it's called like a video, or if it goes up to 1 hour and something, it could be a full feature film. And a lot of people are now using their cell phones to do filming of movies. So please do not try to separate the books from the movies. They're one and the same. It's a derivative is just another source of the same source work. It's just another, just like the baby is a derivative of the mother, but they are still one and the same. The baby wouldn't be here if it didn't come from the mother. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're not separate entities. And what did you want to know about the Third Eye book in particularly?
Yes, thank you so much for clearing that up for me. The thing I want to know, because I read somewhere that you had, um, how do you say it, entered the third eye into like a book contest or something, and that's how your idea got
Well,
stolen.
the ideas
I don't know how.
cannot get stolen. An idea is a thought. You can't even copyright a thought. You can't even snatch a thought out of somebody's head. It's like you've heard people say, "Hey, I got an idea," and then you say, "Well, what's the idea?" But the idea or the thought is not copyrightable. When you file something at the Copyright Office, it has to be something that is a completed body of work called an intellectual property. It has to be a movie script. It has to be a manuscript, a book, a treatment, a synopsis. It has to be a complete entity that is going to be copyrighted. So no one can steal your thoughts, but they can steal your intellectual property and make money off of it, but not own your intellectual property. It's just like somebody, you have a DeLorean in your yard, but the DeLorean is in your name. It has your name on it. So the person steals your DeLorean and makes $1 million. Well, you're going to court for the $1 million. That's called profit or the damages, because they had no business making $1 million off of your car, your DeLorean. Or they took your house and had a house party and made a certain amount of money, but the house is in your name. The deed is in your name. You own the house. So you're not going to court to get your house back, because everybody already know you own the house. It's in your name. Or to get the DeLorean back, because at the motor vehicle, you got the title, or it can be shown who owns it. But you're entitled to the money, the damages, and you go to court for the damages. Like what Little Nas X is what they did to me. The same thing. Little Nas X counterfeited Nike. Now, and made 666,000 copies and sold it. But he already knew that he didn't own Nike. He already knew that Nike was copyrighted and trademarked. He already knew about the copyrights and the trademarks on Nike. But that didn't stop him from stealing Nike's money. He didn't steal Nike's idea. Do you see? Because he can't go in Nike's mind and steal anything. But he stole the intellectual property and counterfeited it and made some money off of 666,000 copies of it. As soon as he made the money, Nike came after him for that money. Now, there's a second court case called a criminal case that the government should come in and arrest Lil Nas X, Mischief, that's the name of the shell company that got the money for those 666,000 copies of those Nikes. Look at the court case. And the executives that created the shell company. All of them need to go to jail because they counterfeit. It's just like when you put a Versace or Gucci over in a foreign country, you have a manufacturer over there, and the people working in there start knocking off Louis Vuitton, knocking off Gucci, knocking off Versace. Well, they're counterfeiting. It's the same thing. You take a $5 bill and make it into a $50 bill, or you take a $50 bill and make it into a $500 bill. You're counterfeiting. That's a criminal case. The government is going to come in and arrest you for counterfeiting because you already know that the money doesn't belong to you to counterfeit it. And that's a criminal act. Now, it's all about intent. What is the intent of a person? What is their intention? In 1981, 83, and 84, I had copyrights. On the copyrights, it tells you my name and where I live. Anybody wants to see this can see this. It tells you that I own the Third Eye, Matrix, and Terminator book. It's already published. It's already selling. It's already out there. Terminator didn't come out until October the 26th, 1984. My last copyright even came before that, February the 6th, 1984. So they already knew, just like Lil Nas X knew about Nike, they already knew about Sophia Stewart, where I lived, and that I owned the copyrights to the work. And that it was a book and it's in a script that was already created, and the characters and the graphics and the special effects and the logos and the concept. And yes, I entered a contest, and then the Wachowski brothers wanted all of it to make into a comic book. They were looking for a science fiction manuscript to do into a comic book. It didn't matter how old they were. It didn't matter where they were, if they were in college. Thieves are thieves. Nothing to do with anything. Do you see what I'm saying? So they already knew, they had already researched me, they had already done investigators, and they still went ahead and adapted it. I was looking for George Lucas. I was looking for Lucas to direct my work. So I sent it over to 20th Century Fox. And I have the letters. They never rejected it. They accepted it. There's letters in the book. When you get the Third Eye, Matrix, and Terminator book, all the documents, the ads, everything is in the book. So there could be no confusion. I was already in the news in 1981. The Los Angeles Sentinel, the Sophia Stewart is going to come out with the first black science fiction. First of its kind, never before seen on any screen. And it's inspired by Muhammad Ali, the one, the Neo. While Will Smith had played Ali in Spike Lee's movie, and why they tried to get him, but they couldn't explain my work because you can't explain Tesla's work because you're not Tesla. You can't explain Prince's work because you're not Prince, the late Prince, or the late Michael Jackson. The only the creator can explain their work. You can find a Picasso right now in an old abandoned building, erase Picasso's name off of it and put your name on it and go sell it for $100 million. But when it gets time for you to do the next one, that's when people are going to find out that you're a liar and a fraud. Because all you're going to try to do is mimic what you found in the basement. And it's going to be horrible. And people are going to say, oh my God, look at 4. This is not the Matrix. What is this garbage? Give me my money back. You're going to get shown up to be a liar and a fraud because you cannot do another person's creativity. You cannot eclipse another person's work. You can mimic the late Michael Jackson's old work from 20 or 30 years ago. You can mimic the late Prince from 20 or 30 years ago. You can mimic any of them. But you cannot eclipse any creator's work. All you can do is Milli Vanilli and Houdini. That's all you're going to be is Milli Vanilli and Houdini. And what is it? You're going to pull a Milli Vanilli? Milli Vanilli wasn't even singing. There was other people singing, and they took credit for it. What is a Houdini? You're pulling an illusion, a lie, like Chris Angel, like Copperfield, like David Blaine. All you're doing is pulling an illusion and fooling somebody, but the illusion is going to wear out. But the truth is, the only thing is going to be still standing after the smoke blows away. And a lot of people don't know this. And this is kind of really weird because if you go out and buy a TV and somebody steals your television out of your house right now, you still have the receipt or it's in the computer at the store you got it from. Well, you're not going to court to fight over that TV. You're going to get the damages because someone took it, abused it, destroyed it maybe, or whatever. But there's still, you're owed pain and suffering, and you're owed the damages. They have no right to steal your property or to profit off of anyone's property. The property belongs to the creator. And so I have to teach people that is what you're going to court for. The damages. Damages is money. You're never going to court to prove you own the TV. You have the receipt that you own the car, the DMV or your certificate or the bank liens on it. The house, the deed in your name. Intellectual property, you go to the Library of Congress and you pull up the owners. Anybody else that go in there and put your work in there and apply for something under your work, under the penalty of perjury, this is the baddest ass law. Under the penalty of perjury, if anybody steals anybody's intellectual property and enter it in to any government source trying to get a copyright or a trademark or anything from the government under the penalty of perjury, they will prosecute you under that law because you will be a witness against yourself. And the moment you put in fraud or the lie or somebody else's property, it automatically become invalidated and inoperative. In other words, you don't have nothing. And I'm going to tell you a story that Warner Brothers and them did. And they tell so many lies when they did not want to apply for the first Matrix for a trademark because Matrix was black and it was not white science fiction. And you go back and look at all the black people, and I can name them: Nona Gay, Jada Pickett, Tyler Perry, Roy Jones, Cornel West, Marcus Chong, Gloria Foster, Anthony Parker, Henry Perrine. I mean, I could go on and on and on, all these black people. And so how can you be confused and not know that Matrix is black science fiction with black leadership? Even the rave party was all black people, Zions. So how can you be confused? Because they're not confused. That's why they try to whitewash 2 and 3 and try to make it white. But those are derivatives and weren't going anywhere. They were still making money off of the first one that made over $1 billion. Only $70 million to make. And then what happened was when they went over to the trademark, they tried to office to try to get a trademark off of the two derivatives, 2 and 3. Rebellion and revolution, reloaded rebellion and revolution is right in the book of the third eye. The government would not give them a trademark, so they hired a trademark worker that worked for the trademark office. Her name, a black woman, Avis Frazier Thomas. They hired her and made her a vice president, put her over at Warner Brothers, and had her to go under the penalty of perjury and lie, and said that the video game, Enter the Matrix video game, was not a video game because you can't get a trademark off of a video game. And the Terminator, the Terminators was a series, but the Matrix was a trilogy. Trilogy means 3 movies. You can't get a trademark with 3 movies. It has to be a series. So she lied and said Enter the Matrix video game was not a video game. It was a movie, and it was the 4th installment. Then they come out with this 4th installment, regurgitation, resuscitation, resurrection, with John Wick, and said it was the 4th installment. Now somebody has to go to jail because they got 2 lies out, one in the trademark office and one out in the public. And if you think I'm joking, go to the trademark office and pull it up. Pull up Enter the Matrix and read where Avis Frazier Thomas, the vice president for Warner Brothers, say it is not a video game. It is a movie, the 4th series, the 4th movie. And Google Enter the Matrix and you'll see that it is a video game. But when people start lying, they forget they lie. That's deep, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
That is so deep. That's jail time under the penalty of perjury. And this is why when you go to the DMV or you go to the motor vehicle and you apply for a driving license and you put your brother's birth certificate in there, and it tells you right before you sign off, under the penalty of perjury, is this your birth certificate? Are you telling the truth? And you say yes. And it tells you that if you're not telling the truth, if you are lying, that they can prosecute you as a witness against yourself. And whatever you thought you got is automatically an operative invalidated. And let me tell you why. The moment he gets into a car accident, they go to the motor vehicles and find out that you put your brother's, they investigate you. Found that you put your brother's birth certificate in, they put you in jail. And what do they say? They arrest you because you never had a driving license. You were driving without a driving license. Because it doesn't matter what you have in your hand, it's fraud. So these people do not have any copyrights, it's fraud. And anytime they take your copyrighted work, everyone out there, listen very carefully. Anyone takes your copyrighted work and enter it into any government arena for any fraudulent means, under the penalty of perjury, look it up. Under the penalty of perjury is the baddest ass law that you will ever learn. It is the witness that put you in jail for fraud. And whatever you thought you got, you did not get. But they don't need any witness. Under the penalty of perjury, you are the witness against yourself for lying and putting in fraud. And you have nothing. Look it up, and you'll see under the penalty of perjury that they are going to jail. They've been paying to stay out of jail. They pay these politicians. You can pay senators. You can pay congressmen. You can pay vice presidents or DOJ, prosecutors. You can pay all kinds of people to stay out of jail. Who has done it? Some of the biggest thieves in the world. Bernie Madoff died in jail, got 150 years. His son told on him. Whitey Bulger died as a snitch in prison. They caught him after 20 years on the run or longer. His brother was a senator, his best friend, a FBI director. They protected him. The FBI director killed somebody, his friend, and went into prison. His brother, they made him step down so they could get Whitey Bulger. Al Capone, his little CPA, little certified public accountant, put him in prison lied on the witness stand, said that he did make his money from killing and racketeering and drug trade and all of this stuff. Racketeering and drug trade and loan sharking and blah, 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 blah. Said he had legitimate companies, found out they were not legitimate because they never paid any taxes. He went into jail, prison for tax evasion. He had syphilis. He spent 40 years in there. When he got out, he died of the syphilis. I can go on and on
Sis,
with the biggest names. Yes.
Sister Sophia, now that we're in court and we're talking about the fraud that is happening, could you explain how these people are not in jail and how they've been able to weaponize the LBGT community? Because us as Black Americans, it seems that people keep using that community to weaponize it against us and silence us.
Well, you cannot be silenced with truth. Anyone can speak the truth and the truth will prevail. Every lie has to bow down to the truth. That's the law. And this Matrix and Terminator, it goes into this LGBT thing because these are children that they are creating, and they are creating monsters upon the earth, but they're trying to kill them also because sodomizing is against the law. If you look up in 16 states, to sodomize somebody is attempted murder because you're pushing bacteria and stuff back into the body. You're actually killing the body. And they created all these drugs, Truvada and a whole lot of others, about 10 or 12 others, but they intentionally created them to kill the LGBT community. They set up to kill them because there's $1 billion lawsuit right now with all these drugs that they've been giving them and been lying to them about it. And these drugs were purposely set up to kill them. And it's all about the deception and the treachery of man, because man needs to tell people the truth. There's nothing wrong with whatever you decide here. If you want to love another man, you want to love another woman, you need to learn the truth. Because if you do certain things, it's going to kill you. If you do certain things, it's going to break a natural law that's going to destroy you. Every man should know the truth and then decide what he wants to do. But these people who are using the LGBT community is not telling them the truth about sodomy, and what it's doing to the immune system. Because the large intestine and the small intestine is your immune system, it's your gut. And God created these openings on your body to release poison and waste out of your body. If you drink hot water every morning, it's going to clean out the large and the small intestines. It's going to clean it out. You have to do it on an empty stomach, 16 to 18 ounces every morning, and wait 1 hour. It's going to clean that gut out, clean out those tapeworms, parasites, toxins, bacteria, waste that's been sitting there for 2 or 3 or 10 years where your stomach is hard and impacted. If you sodomize and you suck the secretion out of someone's body, you are sucking the waste. You'll end up with a lot of poison and bacteria in your body and you will die. It just depends on when you're sucking these bacteria and stuff out of the body. Because these openings were created to release this waste and poison out of the body, because when people are eating food, the cells take away the nutrients and everything, the vitamins and minerals out of the food. And whatever is left over has to be evacuated out of the body. It'll come out of the anus. It'll come out of the sweat glands. It'll come out of the eyes when you cry it out, the ears when you drip it out of, the nose when you blow it out of, the mouth when you gawk it out of. It is to keep the temple holy and get rid of that. But if you do not sweat, do not have evacuations, it is all piling up and obstructing in the guts. And you're getting sicker and sicker, and you got all this mucus. And mucus is like a vampire. Ginger kills it. You eat raw ginger, a cube of raw ginger every day, and watch your whole health benefit change in a month. You do the hot water in 2 months, you'll look 25 years old, younger, 25 years younger, or 25 years age. You'll look from 47 to 25 years old. No joke. It'll make your skin glow. It'll clear you up. You'll look like a whole nother person. You'll look like the baby coming out of the womb, out of the water, the healing water, because this heated water is what you were in for 9 months or 36 weeks. You think I'm joking? Put me to the test and see it with your own eyes. It will blow your mind. The doctors are not going to tell you because they can't make any money off of water. Water is free unless you buy it to get it the way you want to. It's water. It rains every day somewhere, raining right now. You can catch a tub full of living water from the ferment. Come here. Totally different from any water unless you go to a spring or a well that comes right up out of the ground that has not been touched by man. Living water, the real thing. The water is the most valuable thing upon the earth. Not gold, not oil, not jewelry, not mansions, not Ferraris or Bugattis or Range Rovers or whatever. Not any of those cars or mansions or jewelry. Water. Without the water, nothing would exist here upon the earth. All these living things that the water keep it living, is the most amazing thing. To drink water, good, healthy water, is to sustain the body beyond anything you can imagine. Because food is nothing but sugar and salt. That's all it is. Sugar and salt. When you're eating it and you don't have your intestines cleaned out, the big and small colons cleaned out where the immune system is, you begin to taste food is nasty because all your brain is absorbing and thinking about is the sugar or the salt. If you love sugar, that's all you taste. If you love salt, that's all you're tasting is the sugar or the salt. But if you really taste the food, it's nasty. Without that sugar, without that salt, it's nasty. It's disgusting. Certain foods, if it's not natural. If it's not natural, it's nasty. If it's made by man, it's nasty. I'm sorry. It's the truth. You think I'm joking? Put me to the test. Drink the heated water every morning on the empty stomach. Mark it down. Take a before picture. And in 2 months, you're going to look like a whole nother person. You ain't going to recognize yourself. Look at the before picture because every 3 weeks, take a transitional picture to make a comparison. 16 to 18 ounces of heated water, less than 2 minutes. And drink it and do not miss a day. Can't miss a day. 2 months straight, and you will never stop because you won't even recognize yourself in the mirror. And when you look at your before picture and the picture you took in 3 weeks, you'll see another person. And you say, why the doctor won't tell you? Because they can't make any money off of garlic. Garlic kills bacteria. That's right, all the bacteria in your body. Ginger mucus, when you're walking all bent over and crippled and all body all hurting, mucus, the vampire. See, the cells that destroy stuff can't see it. It casts no shadow, just like the vampire casts no images in the mirror. And what is mucus? Oh, it's COVID. It's AIDS. It's cancer. It's the flu. It's the whooping cough. It's the common cold. It's STDs. It's AIDS. It's E. coli. It's syphilis. It's all of those little STDs. Mucus, nasty mucus. And what kills it? Ginger root. Peel it, peel the skin off, cut it up in cubes, eat it raw every day. Look what happens in a month. Do not miss a day. Do not break a day. And watch your health. You'll be incredible. Smash 2 garlic cloves together. Wait 15 minutes. Time it. Eat it or put it in some heated water and drink it. Watch. Kills all the bacteria in your body. You won't be gawking up, won't be spitting, won't have any more sinus problems, won't have no more headaches. Your body will turn back brand new. But they won't tell you this. That's why Dr. Sabi is gone, because you can't make no money off of it. You can grow garlic. You can grow ginger. You can find water in your backyard. You might even own a whale. What the hell? They can't make any money off of it. They make money off of biopharmaceuticals. They make money off of chemicals. They're killing you with chemicals. The chemicals mask the problem and open up other areas, and they give you more chemicals, and they cost $182 a pill, and your body is on it like a robot, addicted to it. And then when it doesn't get the addiction anymore, your body dies. That's what happened. And I don't know why they won't tell you the truth, because it's 7 billion people here on earth. So they can tell you the truth, because they still ain't going to miss a lick. There are people who are not going to believe not a word I say. People who are going to do it and see and say, oh my God. Because you got all kinds of people, the believers, the unbelievers, the in-betweens, the neutrals, and the people who just don't give a damn. And the ones that ain't going to do nothing, no matter if they hear the truth or they believe it's a lie, they're not going to do nothing. So there you go. I just told you. There you go. It doesn't matter. They're still going to have plenty of clients. And you needed killing nobody, because you're never going to run out of 7 billion people. You're never going to run out of money. You're never going to run out of whatever you need to push or whatever you need to pander here. You're never going to run out of. Somebody's going to believe you. Somebody's going to continue it. Don't matter. There's the people who are going to wake up to the truth and do something about it. The other ones that ain't going to do nothing. Still the other ones that's going to take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. The other one's going to take the blue pill, go to sleep, and die and kill for the lie. There you go. That's all that's going to happen here. That's
All right,
deep,
Sophia,
isn't
I
it?
want it is. I want it. You cooking. You cooking.
Well, I'm telling the
I want to
truth.
get to some of this heads because the family is anxious to ask you questions. I think Sister LaShawn is next, and then we're gonna go to Brother Bear Arms and then Brother Engagement.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
you're good.
Okay, how you doing, family? Miss Sophia, thank you so much for
No
coming to the
miss.
room.
Throw that in the garbage. My
I'm
name is
sorry. I'm
Sophia.
sorry.
I wasn't born with no miss attached. It was just
Absolutely.
Sophia. Listen, everybody needs to throw all that stuff in the garbage. There are nobody greater than you and nobody underneath your feet. You're one. You don't need these titles. They're not no titles of respect. They're just something man created and put the program in your mind. The only name that's important is your name, the name that was given you, the name that you gave yourself, or the name you were birthed with, or whatever. That is the only name that's important, the only name that anybody needs to use. If you call me anything else with some joint stuff, then it's an insult to me, because you're not saying my name. My name is Sophia. That's the only name I need to hear is Sophia. I don't need no Mrs., no Miss, no Miss, no whatever, no king, no queen, no czars, no pharaohs. I don't need no titles. Throw them all out in the garbage. They are,
Thank
wait, let me tell you what they are. They are a waste of time. They lower your vibrations here, where your name can't even be heard in heaven, where your name cannot be heard anywhere. That it alters your vibrations of energy. I'm not joking. It alters your vibrations, because we operate on energy here. These grids, vibrations, everything is operating on energy here. And if you use spells or spellings or words or illusions, you're messing your whole self up and other people. Now go on and ask the question, because that's really important. I need to tell people this.
thank you, Sophia. So let me correct myself. Sophia, thank you so much for coming. I'm LaShawn. And I just
Thank
wanted to
you.
commend you on your brilliant mind. I was raised on your work. My family has always wanted to give you your flowers, so I'm a representative today for my line. We love you.
Well,
But I
thank
want
you.
absolutely. I wanted to ask you, do you have any? Okay, let me say it like this. So when I was introduced to your work, I always noticed that when it came time to like the red pill or the blue pill, with the red pill, instantly the main goal was to no longer be a soft target. To equip yourself, to know how to protect yourself, things like that. And I just wanted to ask. Aside from the recommendations that you've already given as far as health and things like that, do you have any other, whether it be like books, as far as our knowledge, routines that we whatever, do you have any recommendations as far as us equipping ourselves to not be soft targets and have that awakening that you speak of?
Well, I wanted to tell you, at this part I did miss about the red and blue pill. The red and blue pill was talking about actually that the living beings of God, when you cut them, they are bleeding, red blood come out of them. And then the machines or the artificial intelligence, it has to deal with blue and black ink of the machines, because that's what they have, the black or the blue, black or blue, oil in them. Or when you're dealing with pens and paper, it was the black pen, the black or blue pens, or the pencil, black pencil. You could change the grade on the papers, but whenever anything was marked in the blood or marked with the red, it was final. You could not change that or alter it. They still use that red system in the court system. And this is the deal. People do not read. I don't know what their problems are, but they do not read. And that's one of the problems. I don't know why they don't want to read, because the truth is hidden right there in front of you, right in your face, hidden in plain sight. But people will miss that because they won't do anything, they won't read. Now, my books, the Matrix and Terminator books, they have all of this extra knowledge in them, but you would have to read the books. And then you'll even understand the movies a lot better when you read the books. You will get facts. You'll understand why you saw certain things or why certain things were presented, because a movie is only a fraction out of a book. It's no more than 1 hour and 36 minutes, no more than 2 hours and 10 minutes. And so when you're filming, you can't film the whole book. You can just go in there and film a part, and the editor comes in and you see whatever the editor has done to the work on the screen. The director come in, direct it, they do the filming, and they don't film in order, but the editor is the final one that put the picture together. So when you go to the movies, you're seeing the final product from the editor, even though director's work can be brilliant. Everybody plays a part. The filmmakers that come in there, the camera people do the actual filming, but nobody is writing but the writer on the set. He's altering and changing things as needed, and some things has to be that cannot be adapted from the book. They got to make some other little adjustments and so forth. Anybody, and I went to one of the best film schools, USC. I'm a Trojan. I have a degree in journalism, a double major in law and psychology. I studied to be a lawyer and a doctor, and I am an attorney and a prodigy like Tussler, a polymath. A prodigy is somebody well gifted in math. It's like this little girl. She's 12 years old. She gets her degree, her college degree. She go work for NASA because she's a prodigy. She knows quantum physics. She knows calculus, ancient sacred geometry, trig, and they need to know that math because they're flying ships or they're trying to get someplace, whether it's the moon or another planet. I have to break this all down so you can see it's all one big picture. But if you get the books, you're going to get greater knowledge. If you're seeking knowledge out there, read the books. If you really into just movies and entertainment, then see the movies. Go back and look at them again because they're layered. And the book is layered. So every time you pick up the book and read, you're going to find something new. Every time you look at the movie, you're going to see something you never saw before. And as we evolve and go through evolution, knowledge is every day is entering us. So now we are greater than what we were 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago or 2 minutes. Because we're every day we're learning something new that is shifting our consciousness, and we are beginning to see things that we never saw before. So please, please read. It will change your whole view and knowledge of the world. And one of the greatest things you can do is speak the truth. The more truth you speak, the greater your light shine, the greater people can hear you. The more lies you tell, the darker your energy gets. It gets lowered to the level of an animal where no one can even hear or see you. It's true. Start speaking the truth and watch how amazing your life will change. And watch how many people will listen to you across the room. Your energy, you'll become very powerful. Your energy will shine and people will see and hear you. But it's difficult now. Make no mistake. It's not going to be easy speaking the truth, like Morpheus was saying. And that ain't going to be easy. But take a little bit at a day and learn to speak the truth and not worry about somebody trying to kill you, because we all didn't come here to be sacrificed. Well, I didn't come to be a sacrifice. Many people came to sacrifice their lives for others, and they came with that knowledge and purpose. But I came to get the job done, so I didn't come as a sacrifice, so that's not in my cards. Okay? It's about what you come here to do and who you come to help and uplift and what creations that you came to create. It's about creating and serving others. The greatest is the one who serve all, not the one that specializes, but the one that serve all of humanity with their creativity or their creations. Questions?
Mr.
Do you know who
Engagement.
you were next? Oh, Mr. Engagement is on you.
No, it was Brother Bear Arms.
Okay.
Hello, good evening, Sophia.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I just want to listen. You've always, it's just kind of crazy seeing like the different degrees of separations for us to come to this point. The first movie that I ever went to go see was The Terminator. I went to go see a remake in the 80s, and I skipped school to go see, The Matrix. And, I've always connected with your work, you know what I mean? And,
Thank you.
my daughter, I even named my daughter Trinity.
Oh,
And she
wow.
said, yeah, she's 7 weeks old and she's around here giving me issues. So I've always been a big fan of your
Well, you
work.
know what the
And
Trinity was? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost was the Trinity.
yes,
Was those
right.
three.
Yes,
And that's what
yes.
Trinity was all about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's a lot of common denominators with the number three with my daughter as well. And of course, your movies like subconsciously, like it just all kind of came together, with the name Trinity. But I'm a big fan. Um, Even I own a firearms company, and I'm really obsessed with like the Second Amendment and like protection and things of that nature. But I think that your movies kind of help subconsciously inspire me to be like a prepper and things of that nature. And I the Cyberdyne and
Well,
systems laboratory stuff. Anyway, yeah, sorry that like I really got caught up in it as a kid. Like I always wanted to be prepared. I never wanted to be unprepared. Um,
yeah, well, I was going to tell you the number three, the Trinity, the third eye, you know, um, everything about Matrix and Terminator is biblical, but to the level of the Book of the Living, the Book of the Dead, it goes all the way up to that level. Ancient aliens and the Elohims, and you can look at the giants and the little people and you can look at Anubis and all the other stuff that's going on. And it's these hieroglyphics is telling you how the pharaohs had the rod and the staff. It comforted you, the lightning rod, and that's where where the mob was calling their guns rods and stuff. And the staff that Moses brought, the staff of truth that went up against the witchcraft. The truth always goes up against the lies and illusions, spelling, where they didn't want you to learn math because the universal language is mathematic. And if you learn math, you're going to create here. You're going to be one of the greatest creators. The more math you learn, the more you know. And if you get caught up with spells and spelling and words and illusions, all you're going to do is create optical illusions and some bullshit that's not going to, it's not going to fry. It's not going to go anyplace. So the word matrix coming out of the King James Bible mentioned 5 times in scripture, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse. God said, he who opens the matrix or mind, children born with seeds or souls, 3-dimensional beings. And the animals were his because the female had the wombs, the matrix. And Terminator end time revelations, where the prophecy comes from, revelations, and Terminator terminating, or the end, because Revelation speaks about the end time. And people of color around the world, 3/4 of the world is nothing but people of color, tribal people of color. 3/4. If you were in the military, you already know this. All military people who have gone to these many countries, they know that people are black. Their skin is black. No matter who they are, they can be China's, they can be Chinese, they can be Russians, they can be Ethiopians, they can be over in Syria, or the Arab countries, East Indian, everywhere. And this is why I think so many people have identified with the Matrix and Terminator, because it's a global thing that have wakened them up consciously and given them an image, giving them, visibility, letting the whole world know that they exist. And all these white science fictions from many, many years, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and Rocky and Iron Man, all of this white stuff with white leadership, the white man saving the world, many, many years of it. And then all of a sudden, here come the Matrix and Terminator, and the whole world say, oh my God, we do exist. Who wrote this? Who acknowledged us? Who woke us up? And these 2 guys lying to people who can't even do an interview, can't even speak on an interview, and representing the LGBT community, and they're not even gay. They're cross dressers. They're not even into men, and putting on these costumes. And when these people find out, they're going to really do something to these people. Because let me tell you, when I took these people to court, I asked their lawyers for their name change, legal name change, because you got to enter the truth into the courts. You can't use any what they're using on the internet and calling themselves Lena and Lily. That ain't going to fly. If you don't have a legal name change, that is not going in there. If you don't have a sex change, you're not going to be classified as no women or anything but the truth. You're going in there as your name and as a man. If your lawyers can't produce any paperwork, and guess what? Their lawyers couldn't produce any paperwork. So they just been incriminating and pulling the biggest fraud upon the LGBT community. So sad. But you need to know what you're dealing with. When you deal with lies and liars, then that's all you're going to get is some lies. But they didn't even know where the Matrix came from, never read the Bible, tried to copyright and trademark the word Matrix. It's a generic. No one can copyright or trademark a generic like cola. Nobody can own cola. You can't own generics. You can own Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Shasta-Cola, RC-Cola. You can even come up with Poppy-Cola and create your own cola and copyright and trademark it. But the word cola, no man can own. The word matrix, but I copyright and trademark the matrix and the characters and the graphics and the special effects and the logos and the concept. Do you see what I'm saying? So anybody can use the word matrix, but it has nothing to do with the matrix. Do you see? So when you go look at the Matrix 4 with John Wick and Tiffany, that is not the Matrix. They're regurgitating and talking about the 1999 Matrix, but talking about it like it's a documentary. Strictly garbage.
I did great points, and I did have a question for you. And now that you know the way that you're laying everything out, I see why it was really tough for those brothers to pitch this movie to Will Smith, and he did not understand it. I completely get it. If you would have explained it, it would have been much more. He would have been more compelled to take the role. But I had a question. Um, why does the oracle, well, or you, why does the oracle try to help humans? I've always wondered that. Even Neo, he's skeptical. He's like, hey, how can I trust you? So I've always wondered that. Why are you, or AKA the oracle, trying to help Morpheus and Neo in the
Yeah, but
quest?
wait a minute. I want to go back to when they could not explain my work to Will. And Will, you go on YouTube and you can hear Will talk about it. Because Will is really pissed off that he did not get to play in the Matrix and his wife did. And he went on to play the Wild Wild West, Jim West story. And they really, the fans were pissed off about it. So Will didn't do well in that movie. Now, what was the second question you was asking? Because I needed to tell people
The
that.
the thank you. I'm glad you said that. It was the second question was why is the Oracle trying to help Morpheus, Neo, and basically humans? Like, why is the Oracle? Because the Oracle is like basically a part of the Matrix. So I understand it's a program. So
No, the
I just
Matrix,
wanted to know
the
why.
Oracle is not a program. That was
Okay,
in the
okay, I
whitewashing
stand
of 2
corrected.
or 3. I made 2 and 3 a dream. If you ever read the Matrix 4 book, the Matrix 4 book carries on from Matrix 1. Matrix 4 carries on from Matrix 1. And in Matrix 4, it tells you 2 and 3 are nothing but a dream. 2 and 3 are a dream. They're the program. They didn't happen. 2 and 3 never happened. It was just a program, just a dream. And Neo and Trinity wake up from the dream and the Matrix continue as one, but greater. So anybody out there that got the Matrix 4 book, you all know what I'm talking about. All the Matrix fans that are big Matrix fans went out and got Matrix 4 book. It don't take you 22 years for somebody that's claiming they wrote the Matrix to come out with the 4th installment. 22 years? Are you joking with me? Are you kidding? If you bought 22 years, then there's something wrong with you. The continuation of the Matrix has been out since 2010. It is 2022 going on 2023. So the movie just came out in 2021 and it was 20 some years. So how can they be the creator and the owner of the Matrix and it takes them 20 years to continue the work? Are you kidding me? You guys are in the Matrix. And 2 and 3. How can you buy 2 and 3 when it's showing you that they don't even want any black leadership role, trying to whitewash it like they did the White House? Did you know before the White House became painted white, there was a black house with black presidents, 7 of them before Obama? They burnt it down and painted it white. Did you not know there was a black Wall Street? They bombed those people, 5,000 people in a mass grave, stole their money in the banks, the KKK. Are you kidding me? The Wall Street that you see now is a white Wall Street created from the black Wall Street. Did you not know that everything, even the void, was black before light came upon it? That everything was black. I cannot believe you guys. People don't even know there were these black presidents. Should I name the black presidents? Lincoln, Hanson, Jefferson, Jackson. Should I go on and on? Did you guys know about these black presidents? That Lincoln was black, Jefferson, Jackson, Eisenhower? Or are you guys aware of that?
No, man.
I think the more people will be aware as they do their lineage and follow the blood,
Oh, I
like you
cannot believe
suggested.
this. Hardin. All these presidents, all you have to do is Google the 7 black presidents before Obama. Listen, all you got to do right now is Google put in 7 black presidents before Obama. And you guys are telling me that you did not know that there were 7 black presidents before Obama. You guys, come on. I'm asking you. Thomas
Yeah,
Jefferson.
I knew a couple of them, but not all of them.
I'm kind of familiar with a few of them. I knew Abraham Lincoln. I knew his mother was Melungeon. Melungeon were black people that were already here. They were native to this side of the Americas. I knew about John Henson. I knew that he was the first president of the Consolidated States of America. I knew that Andrew Jackson, I knew he had some black in him. I didn't know how much though, but when you look at pictures of him, you can see his hair on how his hair sticks up. Only our hair grows up. Everybody else hair falls flat. Now the other two, my queen, I didn't know. I apologize. And everybody else, I apologize for just sliding in, stepping in like that. But question was asked, and this is my thing. I love history.
We love
I
you, bro. We
I
love
love
you.
history like I
Please.
love meatloaf. You know what I'm saying? But a question to Miss Stewart. Hello, Miss Stewart. How are you?
Yeah, fine. How you doing? I just had to tell people because I just can't believe that they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? It just the lies because George Washington was the first white president, but they don't tell you that. They just make it like he was the first president, but they don't tell you he was the first white president.
That's just like if you tell them if they look on the back of a $2 bill, they could see John Hanson right there while they were submitting the Declaration of Independence to the king.
Exactly, and that
You
he's a
know?
black man. That he's a black
Yes.
man. So I don't understand why Matrix and me should be a big deal when if you go back in history and look at all the big deals that are not even acknowledged. Do you see what I'm talking about? Why would it be a shocker and some people not believing that I wrote The Matrix and Terminator? And there it is right in your face, all these black people and black leadership roles. And white science fiction, that is never going to happen. It's the white man saving the world. It's the white president saving the world, George Washington. And that's the biggest lie. Hanson is right there on the back, like he said, of the money. And when
Yes.
you Google, they're not hiding it from you. They even tell you the lineage that makes them black, who their parents were, if their parents was mixed or whatever was in their parents, where they came from. They explain to you why they're black. Now they're not hiding this. So what is going on with people here? Did you hear what I said? What's going on with people here?
What it is for what your movies portray. A lot of people don't have enough imagination to think things are accurate or think things are true, so they just believe what they see, and they fail to realize that they have a third eye, such as yourself, my queen, to be able to see beyond the void. My dad always told me, if a lady tell you her intuition or her third eye tell you something, she's not lying. It's no intuition as a woman's intuition, because y'all have that sense. Y'all have that natural third eye to where y'all can see through the matrix. And like my buddy asked the question, when he asked the question, like, what was the purpose of the oracle? My conclusion was the oracle was the mother. The oracle was Mother Earth. She symbolized Mother Nature. And man was mother's greatest gift to earth. They say God was man's greatest gift to earth, man, human being. I symbolize the oracle as Mother Earth. That's why she was a black woman, the mother of all, who created all. I told people that I remember when I first saw the Matrix when it first came out. I said that's the black woman because she's the mother of all. The mother of all, the ebenoid. The ebenoid can create a rubinoid, citroid, and albinoid, but none of them can
That's
create the
right.
ebenoid.
The Eve gene. The
Yes, so
Eve gene.
that's what I adequated the oracle as, and the matrix was the father. But it's no greater love than a mother's love. That's why the oracle sacrificed herself to help her people, her children. That's what I did. Now I may be wrong, but I look beyond things. I look beyond the veil, and I think beyond. I have an imagination, and that's what helps me.
Right. No, I wanted to point out to people that John Hanson was the actual first president of the United States. And he was black, 1781 to 1782. You got to look at this. This is so important. It tells the history of what this man, and then Thomas Jefferson, the third president, he's black. And then Andrew Jackson, the seventh president, he's black. And they're telling you the order of these black presidents. Lincoln, the 16th president, he's black. Warren Hardy, the 28th president, he's black. Look how many times the black presidents have come upon there and what numbers they are. Calvin Coolidge, the 29th president, he's black. Dwight Eisenhower, look, in modern time, 1953, look at that. And he's the 33rd president. Do you see what I'm saying? Look at these years that every time a black president came upon the throne, and look at the black Queen Charlotte that they don't even talk about. They try to make you guys think that Meghan Markle, that's married to Harry, is the first black woman to sit on a throne or to be acknowledged. And that's the biggest lie. Queen Charlotte. Look up in the Black Kings. King Charles Stewart, Charles Stewart, James Stewart. James Stewart had a daughter named Sophia Stewart. I mean, look at all the black monarchs, and they
Yes,
and they and
James
they make.
Stewart,
That's
King
right,
James Stewart, who the
King
Bible was
James.
written
That's
after.
right,
He
King
had William
James.
Shakespeare rewrite the Bible. James
That's
Stewart,
right.
Scotland,
Where the
Clan
Matrix
Stewart.
come from? Where
Yes,
the Matrix come from?
yes,
And
Clan
his
Stewart.
his brother was Charles Stewart. James Stewart was the one that had the daughter Sophia Stewart. But I'm just saying that they're trying to make people think that, like Obama, the first black president. Are you kidding me? They come out with these lies and people don't do nothing about the lies. The black people don't do nothing about the lies. They let these people just lie. You see what I'm saying? You would have never known that there were other black monarchs over there in the throne of England. And you would not even known that Queen Elizabeth and her sister, they were communists. They were like a Hitler. They were all into Hitler when they were teenagers. They were doing High Hitler. You can pull it up. They're not hiding it. They even changed their names to Windsor, but they changed their real names. You guys don't even know this, do you? You don't know this history. Am I right on this or not?
No, ma'am. Actually, but many of us in the room have been in rooms with people who have claimed to have traced their lineage back to the Tudors and things of that nature. And that's what they said. They said they traced their lineage back to them, and they are what I call black people here today. J. Edgar Hoover is another one that you should throw on that list. He
Yeah,
wasn't a,
he was black. Yeah, go
yeah.
on. He was black homosexual. And a lot of them say that he killed Marilyn Monroe because he was jealous of her. And Marilyn Monroe was black. I'm sorry, people, but Marilyn had the butt, and she had nappy hair. They straightened her hair. They changed her nose, and that's why she had the butt and she had the sexuality. Marilyn was black. If you saw her picture as a little girl, that's why they don't tell you who the father is. If you saw the pictures of her, they didn't took the pictures out. But back in the day, you could pull the pictures up. Someplace you can still go into the archives and find. She had braids on her hair, nappy braids on her hair. I bet you shocked about that, huh? That Marilyn Monroe was
Very,
black.
very, very.
No, I knew that. I knew it for the simple fact my biological mother was named after Marilyn Monroe, and she even have the mole right there. You know what I mean? My sisters even have the Marilyn Monroe mole, so I know about that. Just like another person back in the days who was black, it would shock a lot of people. But my mother was infatuated with Elizabeth Taylor because Elizabeth Taylor had some black in her as well.
Oh, I can believe that now. I always thought that. And I'm gonna tell you who else was black. Yul Brynner was black. Carol Channing was black. Um, who else? Some of these, because they were pretending to be white people, but they were not white. Um, well, they had them like that. Like Keanu Reeves is not a white guy. You guys know that. They're trying
He's
to
mixed
call
with
him a,
Asian.
yeah, Polynesian. That's why his name is Kiana. Kiana means cool breeze over the mountain. His father is Polynesian. Well, you know they call the Polynesian Asians, but you know they're mixed with a lot of Asians. The Polys. But you know what The Rock is? The Rock is Polynesian and black. His father's Dwayne Johnson. The mama of a Polynesian princess. But when you go over there, they hate white people. They'll tell you. But they're mixed. A lot of them are mixed over there, but they're Polynesian. They call the Polynesians Asians. I don't know why they're calling them that, but they're Polynesians. You guys know that, right? The Polys.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know my story, and I know the history about the. I know the story on how they migrated over there and everything, but they're just jumping on that AAPI thing because they don't want to be included as black, even though they are black. You
No,
can look
no,
at
the
anybody from the
Polynesians,
islands.
the ones over in the islands. I'm not talking about the ones that are mixed, because there are a lot of them that are mixed with and trying to get the white privilege. But the real Polynesians, they hate white people. I know because I talked to them from over there. And they told me the history and told me how they really feel. I'm talking about the real Polynesians. I'm not talking about the ones that are mixed, because they told me about the ones that are mixed with different other ones. There's some mixed with Arabs and Syrians and Lebanese, all kinds of mixtures. Like we got over here, we got all kinds of mixtures.
Family, if
That's
you've already
real.
Family, if you've already spoken, I'm going to drop you down to listening because there are a ton of people in the queue right now who are trying to ask Sophia a question. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate you out. Mr. Engaging, I believe you were next. And then Brother Immortal, Cousin Pookie, Jackson, and then we'll go from there.
Yo, thanks family for allowing me to speak. I'm honored to be in the space with you right now, Miss Sophia. And I
Yes,
want to say
hi,
I was a
honey.
major. Hi, how's it going? I'm a major fan of the Matrix when I was a kid, and the reason why I thought about my community and stuff like that was the Matrix. Like I saw a lot of black men and black women standing up for their community, and that I always admired that. And when I got older, when I went to college and stuff, and I was reading books and different things, I ran across and found out that you were fighting your case and different things, and it kind of gave more of a complete reality of the books and how pivotal it was to the community and to the greater community at large.
But I
And
wasn't
I
I
felt like,
wasn't fighting any case, but I'll explain that because that's a misnomer. But go on.
oh, oh, I'm sorry about
No,
that.
no, no, no. It's the rumors all over the internet. Go on. It's just a rumor. I'll have to dispel that rumor. Go ahead.
Right. Thank you so much. And I just remember just coming up, just seeing all that, and I noticed that when it got to the third and the fourth edition on the film, it just didn't sit right with me, and I just never got back into the Matrix again because it didn't visually like I'm a big reader, and I could just read through it, and it just didn't sit well with me. It was the same thing with my man Eric Magruder with the Boondocks. I felt it got hijacked, and I felt it got taken away, and it kind of hurt me a little bit. And I'm hearing it from you. I could understand the context of everything, how I felt, and I couldn't explain it. And I
Well,
wanted to say,
you didn't know that a book was out, that I had continued the work. That's what all authors do. You didn't know that I had continued the work because no one told you it was a book out. You know what I'm talking about? I continue to write books. And, they hijacked his work because they didn't want, they just didn't want you guys to have something of your own. You know what I'm saying? And they took a lot
yeah,
of black companies away because they didn't want black people to own their own companies to be prosperous. Yeah, so I know you knew about that.
yeah, and it hurt. Like my father's a writer. Before he passed away, and he wrote 5 different books.
Right.
And I always been in a household of reading, and Carter G. Woodson was one of the first things I read. As like 4 or 5 years old, that was one of the things that was mandatory. So like when I when I saw these things and heard these things when I got older, when I was in my 20s, I'm in my 30s now. It bothered me because I was like, how are we going to protect our intellectual property? How can we make sure that our geniuses stay our geniuses in our community and shine bright? Um, and I don't want to see our geniuses die broke, Like that's a sad reality, like Francis Cress Welson's and other great minds and great geniuses. And it hurts.
Well, anything that happens with black people or people of color here has to do with the whole of everybody standing up as a unity or not. And change starts with you. If you don't like something, then change yourself like the man in the mirror, and everybody will make the change with you. Stand up for the light, and the light will stand up for you. So don't wait on others. You make the changes. Everybody that's listening, you don't need others to make changes. Look at me. I didn't wait on people. If I waited on somebody, I would have never made the change. It's about you making the change. Do you see what I'm saying? It's about you. Your father wrote the books. Now you make the change.
Brother Immortal, it's on you.
Greetings, family, and uh, it is an honor and a pleasure to speak to you today, Sophia. Um,
Thank you.
you said so many things that I could touch on, so let me just try to pick one. And my question to you is: any thoughts that you would have, or words that you would have about the transference of consciousness or knowledge through genetics, the passing down of knowledge and information through your bloodline? And is that possible? Is that a part of reincarnation, or is that some? I don't know. What anything that you can tell me about those words? I appreciate it, and I'm gonna drop down. Thank you so much.
What is your name? What's your name? The last person just asked the questions. What's your name?
On this app or
No,
in or
your name. Your name.
my name is Antoine.
Okay, Antoine. Let me give you the answers. Antoine, and everybody needs to listen. I know a lot of people are in denial here. They're gonna be in denial. They might even curse or be upset or very angry. But your skin is not determining who you are. I'm sorry, but don't judge a book by the cover because you're not the skin. These people are not the skins. You need to find out your bloodlines. And you need to try to get your bloodlines as pure as possible with being a living being and clear away from those animal bloodlines. What you're going up against, all this killing and stealing and turf and survival and all this other crazy stuff that's going on, is because of the bloodlines. People mix with different bestiality bloodlines. And how much blood are you, a living child of the Most High? Because look at the when you go look at the Planet of the Apes, and when Charles Darwin was saying that they evolved from the monkeys, and that rhesus Rh factor negative bloodline. I believe we're having more problems because of the bestiality that is God's children versus the beast. And if you look at it in the Bible, they're clearly saying that the devil is the beast. He's got the cloven hoofs, he's got the horns in his head. And those are animalistic things. When you see the sacrifice and all this witchcraft and all these spells and stuff, bestiality and all that's in, having sex with animals and the animal bloodlines. It's that's the war that's going on against the living beings. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to believe it exists. I don't know why. It clearly tells you. It clearly shows you what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with.
Jackson, it's on you.
Thank you, KD, Yaya, and Sia for this space and interview, for always bringing us such value and vital information. Sophia, thank you for your scholarship, your work, and being vocal about your authorship, intellectual property, and giving us your time and wisdom. What do you think our role is as a people regarding the future of technology, considering we were the first computers, invented the internet, and so forth?
Well, if you keep getting wiped out, there's not going to be any more of that, because the more you're led to slaughter, the more clones that are taking your place. The artificial intelligence, the AI, is trying to wipe you out. Is creating plagues to wipe you out. But it's 7 billion people, and no greater time has there been more people on the earth than it is right now. In fact, there's so many people. I think that they're losing control. The elite is losing control of what they can do and what they cannot do. That seemed to be the problem. But everybody that has creativity inside of them, let them continue to create. And you will, because there's nothing that's going to stop you from creating or inventing. But the other people who are interested into killing and doing other things here and tearing down, you got to watch out for those people, and hating and trying to kill for turf. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And you just need to pay attention, and you need to be alert, and you need to be awakened. But yes, if you have creativity and you continue to create, but you need to know there's a lot of stuff going on here. And you need to be vigilant. Vigilant.
Cousin Pookie.
How you doing, family? Peace to the room. Uh, Hello, Sophia. I'm a big fan of the Matrix and the Terminator series, particularly Matrix One. And I just had a question about a couple concepts that you used in both movies. Well, not really concepts, but just like I just had questions that I just need you to answer. Like, was there any significance of the Oracle being a black woman? Number two, the the scene where Trinity learns how to ride that motorcycle when she kind of like downloads the info and quickly understands how to do it. Is that like relative to like what we see on YouTube now, where people do like self-taught things
I
and they're
was
kind of
talking about downloading in the book in the 80s.
exactly,
That come
exactly.
from me. If you got the book, you would be reading about downloading. They got it from me. They used to, Tesla had a lot of patents and a lot of everything. The government would not mess with them because people like Tesla and Leonardo da Vinci and some other people, and there's plenty of people like myself and them, we come here to progress civilization. The government is listening to us. They're not trying to kill us. They're listening to us. That's what I wanted to tell a person who had that question. They're not warring or fighting against me or I'm fighting them. I was trying to get them put in jail so they could stop stealing, because they tried to buy my copyrights for millions of dollars that are worth billions of dollars. I would be on a talk show right now with you guys if I had sold it to them for millions. They offered me 5 to 7 million and 30 million for the shooting script that was going to make billions of dollars for the Matrix 4. But if you read the book, you'll see that I'm talking about the alien technology. I'm talking about how the UFOs that they captured, way in the 50s and stuff before I was even born at Roswell. They were blown away when they read The Matrix 4, page 77 up into the 80s. How I'm talking about these UFO ships that they have captured, and they sent it to me, the stuff from the Pentagon, where they broke these ships down by aerodynamics. I can send it to you. And they didn't know how they flew until I told them they flew with magnetic ring pulsions and the reversal of gravity, and how they can be seen in two places at the same time, and how the machines can't detect the movements of the UFOs. And I created those ships, and I understood how they go and they fill up with the chi, the grids, and how they go over Peru, because there's certain land and grids that man has never touched, and how the longitude and the latitudes of the grids crisscross the earth, and how we have all of these portals that ships come through, because they're not coming through that firmament, because anything try to come in there is blown up into thousands of pieces, because anything outside that ring is antimatter, and everything that comes inside here is physical matter. And when you take anti and physical matter, it blows up. That's why in the battery, if you try to put the negative and the positive charge together, you're gonna have a problem. That's the same thing that's happening out there, and that's why anything that touched this firmament is gonna blow up. You know what I'm talking about? Just like when it enters the earth atmosphere, is blown, the meteorites is blown into thousands of pieces, and they're showering and hitting the earth. You know? So I don't understand how come people can't just see a lot of this stuff. It's right there staring you in the face. It's not being hidden from you. In fact, I call it hidden in plain sight. It's right in your face, but a lot of people are in denial. They just don't want to see the truth. They got a problem with the truth, some people do. I don't know what's going on with a lot of people. It's just a lot of different strokes for different folks out here. Some people you can teach, some you cannot, some you can tell the truth, some that don't want to accept the truth, some of them dwell in lies, want to stay in lies. Some of them are materialistic, some of them are bestialities. The oracle has nothing to do, it could be a male oracle. It don't got nothing to do with any skin. It may have something to do with the blood, because you are the blood. Whatever blood you are, that's who you are. And nobody talks about it because they only start learning about DNA at a certain time here and about the blood. But if you go back in the Bible, God is talking about the blood way back. But people are not even getting that the blood is DNA. They're talking about being covered with the blood, and the blood you passing over, the Passover. It's talking about that blood all through the Bible, all the way, and it's telling about all the technology that the ancient aliens had coming from Orion's belt, landing over in the motherland, and how they could reverse the gravity on those stones when they built the pyramids, and how they, like, when you reverse the gravity, it's just like you open them up a balloon and the balloon just shoots straight up, telling you how gravity work here, and that you can change the weight of any object and make it light into heavy. It all has to do with math. But most people don't understand math. Most people don't utilize math, so they don't know what's going on here. A lot of people are involved in spells and spelling and words, which I call a lot of it nothing but witchcraft, because it put people in the spells and programming. Math is a whole nother ball game. Math is about creating. You can't create a chair without math. You can't create a car without math. The engineer can't create the car without math. The architect can't create the building without math, or the bridge without math. The velocity of the gun, the slingshot, you can't create without math. The hidden figures, the girls, the women that work there, they help them to work out space travel or time travel. I wrote a paper on time travel. It's about math. The less you know about math, they don't want you to know math because you're going to be this phenomenal creator. Because you can only create with the universal language, and the universal language is mathematics. You look at everything around you, your social security number, your house number, the time you take the park, the time that it takes to stop at a red light, the clocks, the watches, nothing but numbers. Everywhere you look, numbers, numbers, numbers. And if you don't understand numbers and math, you will not create here. The more math you know, the more phenomenal you are. The more law you know, the more phenomenal you are. The more you go into the Bible that goes all the way up to the book of the living, the book of the dead, the more knowledgeable you are. Those three books, you want to learn God's laws, you want to learn man's laws, you want to learn the universal laws of nature. They're all one.
Brother Sonny.
That's deep. It really is the truth.
Yeah, hello, Sophia. I'm from England. Honored to be in the space.
Brother Sonny, go ahead.
Peace. Sophia, definitely is an honor and a privilege to speak with you. I appreciate your knowledge and your wisdom in this space. I kind of find in particular when we draw on the parallels of this conversation when we're talking about bloodline and lineage, because we're at that point in time right now with us as far as being Black Americans. We understand that we're a unique lineage and a unique bloodline. And this is something that our brother Bobby Hemmett was speaking on, too, before he, he stepped away from his teaching. So I'm starting to see like a parallels with, the Matrix movie and even the Terminator dealing with lineage and bloodline, and us, having that. So I would like to hear you speak a little bit more on as far as like Black Americans, us having a unique lineage and bloodline, and how does that relate to us being here on this land and how we've always been here on this land.
Well, the land is America is the greatest land in the world. And all of these foreign countries and people own more of it than the people born here and who lineage is here. And I will never, ever leave America and go anywhere because that doesn't make a lick of sense. The greatest land by far, and for you to be born in America is astronomical. And the fact that you don't even know that all these foreign countries and people own more, and they're hiding a lot of it, of land acres that they own in America. That's why America will never be bombed. That's why America will never go to war, because America was smart. It was just this little country, little continent, but it took on all of these people and made them a part of it. On Wall Street, all their monies are on Wall Street. That's why the Wall Street was never bombed, but the World Trade was the banks of the world, was the money of the world. So that's why it changed the money exchange. The money exchange, the weight of the money around the world. But America, people tell me, I'm leaving, I'm going over here, I'm going over there, I'm going to Canada, I'm going to Africa, I'm going blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why are you leaving the greatest land of all time? And people are dying and killing to come in here and take your place. And yeah, they're dying and they're getting white privilege, but they're untraceable. So these people want them in here because they're untraceable. 365,000 people would be missing in America. There's only 385 million people in America, but 365,000 would be missing all the time, and it was too many families and people asking questions. So they decided that if they gave these people from all over across the borders white privilege, they could eat them because they're untraceable. Nobody would miss them. They could pedophile the kids. They could suck their blood, adrenochrome. They could use them as mules, sex trafficking, free labor. Oh, a host of many, many, many things, but they would be untraceable. There would be nobody to, if they go missing, nobody would know and nobody would care. They're untraceable. And then you look at the people who were born here and they want to leave here and calling themselves all these names. They gave them niggers at first. They were niggers. And then and they were calling themselves niggers. Then they were colored people, and they were calling themselves colored mans and Negroes. They were Negroes. Then they became their hair Afros, Afro Americans, the hair. Then Jesse Jackson came and gave them the African word, African Americans. Now they're African Americans, and they were Black Americans at one time. Or I'm Black and I'm proud because when James Brown came out with "I'm Black and I'm Proud." Well, yeah, but they've been taking on all these personas and names of the captive, but they have never called themselves what they really are: the living beings, living people, the living children of God, the ones with seeds and souls. And when you look over here before Cortez and them came over and the Vikings and all of them start plundering and raping and stuff like that, they were all natives, indigenous to the land. And then when they start mixing and all these other people came over and start mixing, and then you just got all these different types of cultures and different types of worship of gods and all kinds of things just got mixed up till you don't know who's who, what's what, or what anything or what anybody is. But the most dominant thing is that it was this generational curse of bestiality, and that the Bible spoke of, that sometime that generation went 100 years where people were born with tails and all kinds of mess. And then the children of God, which was three-dimensional beings, living beings that could have babies, that could carry on, that it will never end. And then those that could not replicate, duplicate, or have any babies, the beast lineage that had to carry on with mixing with the beast to continue that whole thing. And that was where the fighting and the warring came. And so many distractions and programs and lies and ignorance and bullshit that's going on till all the people of the world now is just confused. They don't even know what the hell is going on. They don't even know why the hell they're here. They don't even know what they're doing. A lot of them are lying, killing, and stealing and deceiving, fighting over turf like animals, out for survival, eating themselves to death, going nowhere, can't even create, don't even know what the hell is going on. It's just a whole lot of stuff going on with a lot of people, 7 billion people. Some people who've never even seen cars. Some people who have never, a man or woman from over here or anywhere, have never looked over, been over in some of stepped on the soil of some of the people. Some people don't even know nothing about no COVID, don't even know what the hell's been going on with the people in America and the world. It is crazy. If you go right now and you are able to explore this whole great continent or this whole great world, it would baffle you. It would blow your mind that people are fighting in different segments and going crazy over different things. And there's others that's in tranquility, don't even know what the hell is happening, not fighting, not knowing anything that's going on. It's just weird. And you think I'm joking about this, but I'm not. If you meet any military people that's been in the military 35 years or 32 years and they're retired out, they will tell you, because they've seen a lot of this land. They've seen a lot of these people, and it's just different things going on that are not going on anywhere else. And it's a lot of distractions here. Do you want to waste your lives being distracted? Do you want to waste your life being in illusions? Do you want to waste your life being in programs? Because you only have a short time to be here. And you need to think about that. Everybody needs to seriously think about that. You only have a short time to be here, a short window. You came in here, you were numbered. When you leave out of here, you're numbered. What do you want to do? Because you only have a short time and you only came to do a specific thing. Do you know what it is? Will you, when you leave here, will people remember your name? Or will your name be known for something evil? Because you only have a short time and a short window. Every day somebody dies, somebody's being born. Every day somebody's being born, somebody's dying. Why are you fussing and fighting over stuff? Because it probably will never even, you never will ever see it. Probably won't even affect you. Some people are dying every second right now and never going to see all the stuff they were fighting about or distracted or worried about or scared of. They're gone. Look at the news every day. Gorbachev, he just died at 91. Look how long he lived. Everybody he knew just about is dead. He lived to 91 and he just died. I mean, think about that for a moment. He was all in history at one time. Some frail old man at 91 now, but used to be a major world power that people were scared of, that held life and death in his hands. It's amazing. But this is what I need to tell you. You only have a short time here. You need to weigh the pros and the cons. You need to know how valuable your life is and how valuable time is and what you need to be doing. You don't need to be bickering and doing something that is not going to uplift and change the whole world, to serve the whole world, because that's very important. And whatever you came here for, it was either for good or evil. But I'm hoping it's for good and that you need to find out what that good is and get busy because you only got a short time here. What do you want to do and how do you want to spend that time? Forget about your neighbor, forget about your cousins, your relative, your people, other people, because they have nothing to do with what you came to do and how long you're going to be here or not. I'm going to have to say that and I'm going to have to leave because it's time for me to go. But the most important thing I'm getting you to see is you only have a short time here. It's no time to be bickering. It's no time to be fussing and fighting over stuff or over programming or names or land or turf or food or whatever is going on. The earth is never going to be without any water. The earth is never going to be without any land, without any air, without any sun. The only thing that is going on here, and go back and look at history, and history repeats itself, is people coming in here to earth and leaving. And whatever they came in with nothing, but they created stuff because it's still here. You get to see it. You get to see the old, the new, and the present, past, and the future. It's all right here. What they wore, what they ate, what they did. It's written in the caves, the hieroglyphics, the walls, the stones. It's all over here. The buildings, the monoliths. But the only thing you know for sure is people coming here and leaving. That's it. The earth ain't never going to be destroyed. It never was destroyed. Do not listen to the lies and the distractions and the bullshit. Excuse my language. Stop looking at all of that. Go back and look at history. There was these great civilizations here, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Syrians, all of them, the Egyptians, all of them were here. All the great civilizations, Mesopotamia, everything, Atlantis, whatever you believe in, it was all here. These people, they came, they left their mark, they left something. and they're gone. And that's been happening over and over. Rome, they were all here and they left. And they got to this bestiality thing like you're getting to right now. And when they got to that, they had to leave and start all over again, reset. The flood wiped a lot of them out. The earth opened up and cracked open and swallowed up a lot of them, the animals. But that was gone. The earth never got destroyed. There never was without any, didn't need you to take care of it. Didn't need you to take care of the sun. Didn't need you to take care of the water. Didn't need you to take care of nothing. You need to take care of yourself. You need to know that you only have a short time here, and you need to examine what you're going to do with that time. And go back and look at history and look at all the great civilizations and people that was here at one time. Go look at the old reels and look at all of them and why they have all those wars and died fighting over stuff. And all this stuff is recycled. Back in 1949, there were gold mines. Now the gold goes back over there in California. There was oil over here depleted. Now the oil is recycled, comes back. Everything is like a recycle. It comes right back. And it's never going to be without. You're never going to be without any food. Every day there are seeds, and seeds blow somewhere and something is growing. Whether it's growing in front of you is irrelevant. You're not going to run out of nothing. I'm sorry. It's the biggest lie, the biggest distraction to get people to fighting over turf and food and ignorance. And all those people in the cemeteries and all the wars was for nothing. What did these people die for? Doesn't make any sense. People coming and going. That's all that's happening. Remember that. Coming and going. The moment somebody is birthing, somebody is dying. The moment somebody is dying, somebody is birthing. Someone is coming in. And it's a complete circle, complete cycle, and it's endless. And ain't none of the devils are going to stop it. I don't care who they are, powers, principalities, authorities. They're not going to stop that process. Thank you guys for having me. It's simply been wonderful. I enjoyed it. I'll come back again for part 2. Appreciate everybody. Sorry that people didn't get their questions answered, but you can look me up, my website, matrixterminator.com. Email me, and I'll try to answer some of your questions. Get the books, read what I'm talking about, learn deeper stuff, try to educate yourself so you'll know what you plan on doing for the time you're going to be here.
Sophia, before you go, thank you. Thank you so much. My spirit is so alive and refreshed right now. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be graced with your wisdom and your presence. I am so, so, so grateful that you took the opportunity to make your first Twitter space this one right here. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. And thank you so much for all of your work, all of the sacrifices that you've made. And family, make sure that if you do not have the books, get the books. Her Cash App is posted. Make sure that you all are following Sophia. Make sure that you give her a follow here on Twitter. And until next time, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you so much to Yaya and Sears. Thank you so much, King, for co-hosting this space with me. Thank you to the family for pulling up to support this space. Anytime Sophia speaks, I have to listen. So thank you everybody for being here, and thank you so much for this space. Y'all